Welcome to Cancer Tamer. I'm your host, Dr. Charley Ferrer. And today we're going to do our last show of the season. And I'm wonderful to have you with us. And with me today is my co-star.
Hi there, Debra Santulli, Barone. Happy holidays to everybody out there. Speaking of holidays, you gotta watch out what you're eating. That's very important.
Yeah, we always talk about nutrition as one of the things that we talk about how being healthy during this season, especially during this season, is difficult because there's so many wonderful things that you can be eating and all those great munchies. And so noticing what you're putting into your body is so important.
That's very important. And to keep exercising while you're eating that stuff would help too. But you know, be wary when you go to a party, a Christmas party or any holiday party. Don't go there without eating anything at home, because a lot of people, they starve themselves the whole day and then they go to this party and they're ravenous and they're picking on everything.
Right, because you don't have anything else to pick on.
So and what eat ahead of time.
Yeah, and what I think is funny, because whenever I go to people's homes, they always say, well, what are you bringing? And it's not so much that, you know, everybody's bringing their own, but the fact that because I have such a limited diet, and I choose to have a limited diet because I want to eat healthy, you know, I can't eat all the stuff that's there. And so I do bring my own munchies.
Right, and I can't blame you.
And I make my own munchies. So that, you know, I just made a carrot cake.
Which, really?
Delicious.
Oh, I love carrot cake.
And the beauty of it is that when you make it yourself, you can control what ingredients you're putting in. So I do it with gluten-free flour, with almonds, with, you know, less sugar than it calls for. So you can control what you're putting in your eating in your dishes, which I think is so important.
Yeah, it is, because you could control a lot, especially with recipes with sugar. I usually cut it down really slow, really small. If it says a cup, I'll usually do a quarter cup. Sometimes I won't do it at all until I've tasted it. Like, I like pancakes, so once a month I treat myself. So I was trying to find a good batter. And I didn't have to go gluten-free, but you could. But the batter was, it had like simple ingredients in it. And it called for an egg, and that day I didn't want to eat an egg. So I read about using 2 tablespoons of chia seeds. You put them in 6 tablespoons of water and let them gel for like 10-15 minutes, and it actually has the consistency of an egg.
Yes,
and you can put that in.
Substitute.
Yeah, it was amazing. And then I shredded zucchini. I love to shred zucchini and stuff. You don't even taste the taste. You can hide it, and your kids wouldn't even know the difference.
No, just like with cauliflower. You can, instead of doing all the potatoes, you know, put half cauliflower and half potatoes.
Oh, I did that the other day.
And you mash them together. It tastes delicious.
Yeah,
and so really you can also find substitutes for the sugar, which you can use bananas.
Right, that's what they say, applesauce.
And applesauce. And use bananas. And I do that when I make my banana cake. You know, I make sure, and I like the bananas when they go black.
Yeah, because they're real sweet.
They're very, very sweet. So instead of using 1.5 cups of sugar, I use like 1/2 cup of sugar. And I just add an extra banana.
Yeah, and you don't even need it. And also, let's say if you don't want the taste of a banana, because I read about this, if you don't like the taste of a banana in a certain recipe, let's say it was for your what was it called? Your pancake mix, let's say. You can actually use pureed prunes or pureed figs or whatever. Or what I did is, instead of oil, I used just the almond milk, and I used applesauce. So, you know, you don't have to use all that oil. They talk about 1/2 cup of oil, and you look at it and go, you cringe, like, oh, you know. When you can't get away without using the oil, I mean, I'll use sometimes olive oil instead. But recently I've been using, which I've learned with one of I took the plant-based nutrition course, is that instead of oil, now I use low-sodium organic vegetable broth. So when I saute my vegetables, I can do that. I don't need that much oil, or I don't use any oil. Or sometimes you need a little bit of oil because it enhances and absorbs the calcium, and it helps your body absorb. But you don't have to go crazy with all that. There's a lot you can do. So with eggs, if you don't want eggs that day, you try the chia seeds. If it calls for milk, you can try almond milk. So this way you're not having all that animal protein.
Right, and make sure that you read the ingredients.
Yes.
Because just because because it says it's healthy doesn't mean it's organic, and it doesn't mean it doesn't have artificial things added. So, for instance, one of the almond milks that everybody loves to drink has carrageenan in it, and carrageenan has been known to be used to cause inflammation, especially in lab rats. They use it to test the drugs that they use for cancers, because the carrageenan can cause the tumors, and that's what they use it for. Not that all carrageenan is bad, so I'm putting that out there so I don't get in trouble. But not all carrageenan is bad, but you have to know which is which. And so being able to notice that is used in many of the products, including some of the almond milks, including your ice cream, including your some of your baked desserts. Almost all your desserts have it,
and soy lecithin in those baked
because
desserts,
the carrageenan is actually an emulsant. It actually makes things thicker,
and binds it,
and so same thing with soy. It makes it thicker and binds it. So you see a lot of soy and a lot of carrageenan in it, which is not healthy for you. And not that soy is not healthy for you. Some of it is, some of it isn't, but there's so much GMO stuff out there that it's not healthy.
Why would you want to eat that then? That's true.
And it is the piece of making sure you check your ingredients, making sure that you see what is in what you're eating. Because if you ever feel like ice cream, for instance, and my sister always yells at me, "Don't spoil my ice cream." But I will check and I'll say, "Oh, did you know that this this producer has nothing but carrageenan in their ice cream?" And and after you eat it and you feel bloated, or you feel you feel that, oh, it doesn't feel good in my stomach, or I feel sluggish, or well, this is why.
That's the truth.
Because it's made to cause inflammation. So why are you eating something that's going to cause inflammation?
It doesn't make sense. But the almond milk, what I found, which I guess you must have found too, that the silk almond milk didn't have the carrageenan in it.
Yeah, it does actually.
But it said it right on the.
Some of it does.
Really?
So you have,
So even though it says no carrageenan?
You have to check.
Oh, okay.
One of their brand does and the other one doesn't.
Oh, okay.
The one that I use is Khalifa.
Oh, right.
And Khalifa does not have it in their milk.
Yeah, but I use the.
So it's one of those things, check.
Almond breeze. But it had to be the silk, unsweetened, no flavor at all, which is fine. Because there's actually vanilla unsweetened, but that still has a lot of sugar. So I do the unsweetened completely, plain, but it's silk. The regular almond milk had the carrageenan, so you really got to read labels.
So you have to read labels.
And you really have to understand what the heck you're doing. And the same thing what I say with the oils and stuff, that, don't use the oils so much. Use the low sodium, if you could, organic vegetable broths and almost anything. Because if you're using chicken broth even, and then you're having meat on top of it, that's a lot of protein. Your body really doesn't need that much protein, an overload of protein, because then it's an overload on your kidneys. Babies need a lot of protein because they're growing. We've already grown. And you eat too much protein, you're going to grow this way more than anything, But even the ice cream, I bought Breyers. It said no antibiotics are in it and no hormones. And I thought, oh, let me buy it. And then when I got home, I saw the carrageenan in it. So I was like, darn.
Yeah, because you don't think. And you're used to. You're used to what you're used to. You're used to grabbing this, this brand or that brand, or you see the word organic on it. Well, it could be organic. But there are other things that aren't healthy for you.
That's true.
So, and it's an adventure when you go shopping with me, because I stop and I look at every
I take hours sometimes, and I'm like, oh God. And then you look for bread.
Nobody wants to go.
all the books say eat some whole grain. Put fiber in your diet. So when I'm looking for a bread that's whole grain, no matter what you look at, they all have soy lecithin. So if you're taking an estrogen blocker and then you're taking in this other stuff, it's very confusing. It really is, unless you're making your own bread, which I've done a few times. But who the heck can bake every day?
Banana bread is awesome.
Oh, well, I meant like a loaf of bread, type of thing. But it's crazy. And
it is crazy, but it's that part of choosing. Choosing your meals, choosing your diet, choosing your way of staying healthy.
And alive.
The one thing I always get, and I've had it for the last 2 years, where people will say, well, one bite isn't going to kill you. One bite isn't going to, try this, try that. It's not going to kill you. And it's like, that one bite isn't going to kill me. But that one bite is going to lead to the second and the third and the fourth and the fifth. And so when do you stop?
Yeah.
When is it's okay to do something bad for you?
Right.
When is it okay?
Right.
And so that's one of the pieces that we look at when somebody is getting healthy and then all of a sudden they start to slip. And that's true of anything. It's true of how you eat. It's true of, well, I didn't want to drink, but, one drink isn't going to kill me. One cigarette isn't going to kill me. It doesn't.
Right.
But it's not just that one. It's the compilation of that you start doing, well, I tried that. I might as well try this. Right. And I tried that, and I might as well try
And that's human nature.
And
right.
Yes, exactly. So by the time you look at it, you're back into your old habits.
Yeah.
And that's one of the pieces that leads us right into our next topic. So, so watching what you do, because it is one of those things where you will revert back. So I want to put Debra on the spot because she has some awesome news that she's going to share with us.
Okay. You're going to make me cry. I get very emotional. No. As you know, I had breast cancer and I had leukemia, chronic myeloid leukemia. And so I'm taking 2 different medications, and between the both of them, it's a lot. It's strong medication. I have pain, and I worry about my liver and whatnot. And recently, when I went to see my leukemia doctor, she said I'm in remission, and I got off the leukemia medicine, which is such a great feat. I can't believe it, because I was so worried about my liver. They were watching my liver enzymes, and I was tired and fatigued. And all of a sudden, I got this energy, and I'm bouncing off the walls like the old Debra. I don't know how good it is, because I kind of push myself sometimes, but it came at a good time, too, because my mother wasn't feeling well, and I've been helping her and helping to take care of her. And I thank God that I have this energy. And I feel so blessed. So that, and then there's a part of you too that feels like, okay, now what happens? Does your doctor just dump you now? Because then you feel like you don't have
because you had him there for like 2 years or so.
To hold me up, let's say, or like a safety net. And then she said, no, we're going to watch you every month for a year, and then maybe every 3 months, and so on and so on, and that she doesn't feel that the leukemia will come back, which is great. So that's exciting news.
Very
exciting. And to let people know, though, it is a normal feeling to feel like, okay, am I not going to see the doctor anymore? Because you need that safety feeling, and I'm going to continue because she's going to continue to see me, and that's very good.
So the beauty of it is that remission.
Yes, whoever thought.
So the other piece of the remission, and we were talking off camera about this, was how you focus on what it is, how you focus on what was said to you.
Right.
And I remember that you were saying, well, I have a 50% chance of getting it again.
Yes.
And
then I changed it to 50% chance I'm not going to get it, and Charley didn't like that.
I didn't like that either.
Right.
Because when you're in remission, first of all, I really don't like the fact that they say, well, you have to wait 5 years before you can say you're in remission. You're in remission when there's no cancer in your body. And I don't like the word remission. You are cured.
Right.
I know that they can't say that word.
Right,
but
of course.
You don't have cancer.
Right now,
period.
It's great. I love
so
it.
whether you say cure, whether you say remission, you don't have cancer.
Right.
This cancer is gone. So you are 100% free of, instead of, 50% it might come back. And that, for me, that's already setting yourself up to get sick again. Because what you think is what you manifest. What you think is what you believe. If you're believing every day that you're going to have cancer, that you're going to have cancer, that it's going to come back, that it might come back, that it might, and I'm in remission, but it might come back. Then what are you telling your brain?
Right, it's going to
So your brain is going, is she supposed to have it? Is she not supposed to have it? Am I supposed to give it to her? Am I not supposed to give it to her? Do we have issues? Do we not have issues?
Right.
So it's that, it's like, think of your brain as a child. And if you tell your child one thing, they take it literally. Yes. So for instance, I told my kid once when he was 3 years old, I said, we're walking out in the cold and it's freezing, and I'm like, pick up the pace. Come on, let's pick up the pace. And my son stopped turned around, started looking all over the floor. He goes, but Mommy, I can't find it.
Oh, I love that.
So, so the idea of, I had to stop and go, find it. Oh my God, he's looking for the face, to pick it up.
I like that.
So our brain is the same way. Our brain is very literal. So if you're telling your brain, well, I have 50% chance that it'll come back. Well, what's your brain hearing? Yeah, 50% chance it's coming back.
Right.
It's literal. It can't say, oh, well, maybe that's just a gray spot.
Right.
So how do you look at it? How do you talk to yourself? How do you manifest for yourself? And manifesting for yourself, and some people don't like that word, but
I like that word.
But manifesting for yourself is creating. It's how you think. It's what you bring into your life. And so you have 100% chance, and it's not you have 100% chance. You are 100% chance right now that you don't have it.
Yes, cancer-free with that. Yes,
cancer-free.
And it feels good. It feels like a relief. It feels good. I want to thank everyone who ever prayed for me and really was on my side, and I appreciate that. They really had my back. And I feel good, and I realize, all right, I have to step up even more. I have this second chance now to eat even healthier.
Well, you always had that chance.
Yeah, but now it's like,
so now it's like,
flame.
are you going to stay? Are you going to stick to it?
Right.
And so here's the beauty of it, and I love that you said that second chance part, because here's the beauty of it. So now, remember we were talking about, well, it's only one time. It's only one thing. So are you going to stick to the healthy diet that you created for yourself? Or, I'm in remission.
Let's have a ball.
So let's party. Let's eat that junk food. Let's let's go back to the chips and the dip and not exercising and not working out and not and getting stressed. Because a lot of getting sick and chronic illness is partly stress.
Oh, I believe that.
And so so how do you celebrate and keep yourself celebrating the fact that remission is here, that you're free of the cancer, and making sure that you don't put your body back into a position where you get sick again?
Well, that's the plan. And then, of course, the more people you have in your family, the more people are pulling at you, and it's hard.
And you're horrible at delegating.
Yeah. Nobody listens
Except
when I delegate. Yeah, that's true. Tell her anything. She's like, it's hard, and especially the type of person I am, too, which was always, okay, I'll do this, this, and that, because I could, Yeah. And that's been extremely hard, but again, I'm very thankful because I have this energy that came back. My son said to me recently, Ma, calm down, you don't even sit still. And I'm like, don't you understand? I got rid of leukemia. I have energy. I mean, to me, that's a gift from wherever. It's like, because that's the old me. The old me had this
But let me tell you something, and this is something that people can focus on themselves. Because you think you have all this energy now because the doctor said you're in remission.
Right.
But girl, you run circles around me. People say I'm hyper, but you run circles around me. And so it's also that idea of being healthy, being good, being free of the weight.
Right.
And so back to, how do you talk to yourself? How do you implement things for yourself? What things do you say? Mike Dooley says thoughts become things, and it's true. Whatever you're thinking of, you create. Whatever, if you think somebody's going to be mean to you, they're mean to you. If you think you're going to, miss the train, you're going to miss the train.
When you
so
step
it's
up
self-fulfilling prophecies.
Right, that's true.
And so notice that, hey, I'm feeling good. I'm doing good. Finding ways. One of the things that you did was went to JCC, and you're doing ukulele lessons.
Yes. How do you like that? I wanted to challenge myself and say, let me try something new. And it's a lot of fun, and it's a place where I can just sit for that hour and laugh and sing, because you have to sing every song that you play on the ukulele. Otherwise, it just sounds like, okay, what kind of music is this?
Yeah.
And so you're letting that out, and you feel good when you leave there. And actually, with the JCC, it only is, I think it's $3 a course, so $3 for a lesson. If you go for the 2 hours, it's $6. How can you go wrong? You sign up. People 62 and above, I don't know about anyone on disability. I don't know how that works. But there's a lot of different things there.
And you can find out different programs.
There's all different kinds, painting, writing, you name it, guitar. They're going to start wait, what do you call those?
Kazoos.
Kazoos or whatever, your harmonica. Yeah, you know, like there's stuff there, and you leave there jolly, you know. And actually, when I had a lot more time and I was practicing every night because I wanted to get good at it, the cat that I adopted recently came into the room and sat there to listen, and then fell asleep. And I wasn't always playing that good in it, you know? And this cat fell asleep, and every time I play, she comes in, and it's so cute, you know? Like, I'm making her happy too.
Yeah, so the beauty of it is, don't wait till somebody tells you that you're in remission. Start acting as.
Right.
So how would I behave if I was in remission? What would I do if I was in remission? What would it look like? What things would I, you know, participate in? How would I create my world? How would, you know, what things do you want to learn?
Right.
You know, the beauty of it is not to wait till somebody tells you, but act as if.
It's correct what you're saying, and yet I felt like when you're in it, it's like when you are in the Army and you're in the mud and you're in those trenches, and you're not thinking
that.
Yeah, right. You know, that's right. You can't seem to think ahead of it that way. So you're just trying to deal with in the trenches. But then as soon as they let you out, it's like, oh, I broke free.
Yeah, exactly. But it's the
but
idea
that makes sense.
Of breaking free before you break free.
Right.
You know, it's like an athlete where they start visualizing the goal.
Right.
They start visualizing that race. They start visualizing how much more would I have to put out? Where would my arms be? How would I move? How would I position myself? Would I sit up straight, or would I just be like this? So in all the ways that you start acting as if, creating that, visualizing it, that's what then you're bringing into your life. You know, so visualize, what would your remission look like? What would you do in remission? Would you go and learn a new language? Would you go and do a new exercise? Would you, you know, what would you do? Would you go on vacation finally, because you've been waiting for a vacation?
Right.
You know, then what would that look like?
Right.
What would that be like? How much fun would you have? You know, and setting yourself up for joy, for the energy that you need. And as you start visualizing it and start pretending, it becomes true. It becomes a reality. And
well,
you just
I see
step
what you're
into
saying.
it.
Well, I think, though, in a way that we do that, because once we got diagnosed, right, we started eating better, okay? So it kind of sets you up for when you get to the point where they say, all right, the cancer's gone.
Yeah.
If you had been eating bad all that time, you could never feel this
You wouldn't
energetic.
heal.
You wouldn't heal, number one.
Yes.
You wouldn't be that energetic, because you'd be back to the same old, same old.
And so that's the piece with the remission. And so here's the remission and the recurrence.
Right.
And so the minute that you're in remission, you fear. Now it's a new fear.
Right.
It's not, oh my God, I have cancer. It's like, oh my God, when is it coming back?
Right. And then that's a normal fear. Yeah.
And that was your piece of when you started saying, oh, well, I have a 50 chance of it coming back. I said, no, you don't. You have a 50% chance that it won't come back.
Right.
And then once you were comfortable with that, I said, well, you're 100% chance cured.
Yeah, that's
you know, so it
true.
took you a little bit to be able to go
Yeah,
there.
because I didn't feel comfortable with that. I was too scared to say that at first.
See, I waited a whole week before I gave you the other one.
I appreciate that. No, but it helps. You're right. You're absolutely correct. And I'm happy that I did take matters into my own hands to start eating better. I might not eat as great as you. You know, you eat. You know, you have a very strict diet. You know,
I go bad too.
But
it
really
that piece of, you know, what do you focus on? Do you focus on the remission, or do you focus on the recurrence?
Right. Well, hopefully,
you know, so if you're focusing on remission, let's have fun with the remission, and we're focusing on the fact that, hey, we're cured.
Right.
We're cured. It's not, oh, it's going to come back 50%, or you know, no.
Well, I'll
you're
be damned.
cured. Period.
Right.
It's in remission. That means it's not there.
Right. That's true.
Then you start where don't let yourself fall into the recurrence, because the minute you start doing that, then what are you telling your brain?
Right, to let it
It's coming back. It's coming back. It's coming back. So what's your brain doing? I thought she was in remission, but she keeps telling me that it's coming back. So I need to.
I confuse my brain.
And you confuse your brain. And the part of it is that your brain will do whatever you think it does. If you think you can walk, your brain will says, hey, walk.
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
Yeah,
when you think about it.
If you think you can't do something, your brain goes, you know what? She told me I can't do it. Can't do it.
That's
you
true.
know? So it listens. Your brain is the only one that listens to you 100%.
Yeah, thank God.
So what are you feeding it?
Right.
And so instead of worrying about recurrence, where everything is then negative, look at remission. Look at, okay, one step further. I don't have it anymore. You don't have it anymore. You don't want it back. What are you going to do? Are you going to go back to all the craziness that you used to do, all the drinking and the I don't want to say
Speak for
drinking and
yourself. Wait a minute.
But, eating unhealthy, drinking unhealthy, not exercising, getting yourself stressed out. Those are all the things that lead to a chronic condition such as cancer. And so what are you going to do? Are you going to fall back to old habits, which I think is part of why people get recurrence? Because you're like, hey, I'm cured.
Right.
And then you go back to the same thing. Just like people with heart conditions. You know, when you have somebody that had a heart condition, hey, I had a bypass surgery. And within 3 months, what are they doing? They're eating all that unhealthy food.
They're smoking again sometimes, too.
Exactly. So they're putting themselves back into the same position that caused the discomfort in the body.
That's true.
So, with remission, awesome.
Yes.
But let's think further. Let's think healthy. I'm 100% healthy.
Right.
I'm 100% able to decide for myself from this part forward.
Yes.
I'm 100% in charge of what my body does. And that means I'm going to treat it better. I'm going to eat healthier. I'm going to de-stress. I'm going to do whatever it is. I'm going to go on vacation. I'm going to, limit the access that toxic people have to get to me.
I should go like that when they come near me. Bing, bing, bing.
It's like, oh, I'm sorry.
Or like that.
I have an appointment.
Yeah, right. I'm going to hang up on them.
Yeah, so being able to do those things. So, we're almost at the end of the show already.
I knew it.
And we have tons of things to talk about. So before we end, I want to do a quick shout out to one of the new projects that we have going on for Cancer Tamer Foundation is that Debra and I are going to be putting together and hosting the Breast Cancer Diaries. And so we're looking to you to be able to submit some of your experiences to be able to be used in the play. The play, we're calling it a dramedy, which is a little bit of drama and a whole lot of comedy.
Yes.
And just taking different situations from people, from women that have had cancer and even men that have had breast cancer that are things that we've gone through, like when we were first diagnosed, when we went through treatment, the crazy thoughts we have, the people in our lives, the crazy situations. I call it the insanity of cancer. And being able to share those aspects with us. So if you want to be in on that, please give us a call or email us at info@cancertamer.org and send in your comments and look on the website for more information about the play, which will be coming out in 2019. And thank you for being with us.
Yes, thank you, and happy holidays.
Happy holidays. This is Dr. Charley Ferrer.
This is Debra Santulli Barone.
And have a great holiday season.
It was great to be here.